So, Protheon, I'm curious. How did you get your name?
I originally started my Twitter account in 2014, just normal person, normal account, and then I saw a funny account. It was a parody account of the Cryptarch, and it would just constantly tweet like, "Am I allowed to swear?" It would constantly tweet like, "Fuck you, fuck your exotic," and I thought that was hilarious. So I was like, "What could I do?" But I never really went through with it until later, until the House of Wolves came out, where there was a Vex Minotaur boss called Quodron that was super
Oh
difficult to
yeah.
beat week one. Do you remember the Quodron's eye mechanic where you had to like shoot the eye, then the one person
Oh yeah,
shoots the
Prison of
eye can
Velvet.
take the shields?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh
I thought it
yeah.
was funny if I was that guy and was just a big jerk. So that's kind of like where I started. And then the Destiny 2 beta came out, and that's when Protheon was the first boss. And I'm like, how cool would it be if I just transferred my name to Protheon? So I grabbed that name as soon as I could. And then I wanted to be a content creator. I wanted to give back to the Destiny community because they've done so much for everyone. And I think it was just great to be a part of it. But just with my lack of availability, I didn't have time to do it. So I thought if I can make people laugh, that's something I could do. So that's when I started, you know, introducing just silly memes, stupid stuff, funny posts, and it's just been growing from there. So I've just stuck with the Protheon name. I don't really act like a parody account. I just kind of tweet whatever. I just kind of use the name. So yeah, that's how I became Big Vex Minotaur Protheon.
Yeah, I remember seeing those Cryptarch posts a lot of times too. And yeah, pretty funny stuff. And it's nice that Bungie has such a sense of humor. It's like they kind of just like go with it a lot of times.
Well, then there was a time where some people got very successful from it, so they would just make other parody accounts. This was very early, like 2015. I'm not kidding. There was a parody account called Petra's Knife, and it would just tweet every hour saying "flip." Like, what does this come to?
Wow. I mean, I'm Shadow Price, so we know what that story is.
Maybe you should start a parody account. If Shadow Price could speak, what would Shadow Price say?
Bring me back to D2.
Yes.
Pinnacle weapon.
Absolutely.
Bring me back. That's a cool idea, actually. We'll talk about that. We'll talk after the show.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see some of the legendaries come back. I know they bring the exotics back and everything, but it would be nice to see some of the legendaries come back. They don't all have to come back, but just a few of them.
Yeah, the only step that they really took forward is the oxygen is very close to the hung jury. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, they did bring back the Vestian Dynasty, so that's...
Oh yeah, that's true.
The sidearm from House of Wolves original.
Without any random rolls, so every time you got one, you would like dismantle.
Yeah, that's weird. So weird.
Yeah. Instant dismantle.
I haven't really used that gun too much either.
I don't really use sidearms anymore.
Does anybody?
I don't think so.
I think one of our buddies uses sidearms, but he just started playing Destiny, and he's fairly new. He's a blueberry, so
he thinks they're cool. He's like, pew pew pew. Look at me.
Oh, this is awesome! I'm gonna use a scout rifle and a sidearm, and it's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna kick ass. And I'm like, why would you do that, bro? Like, get a shotgun. Have you heard of the Ikilos?
Do you not have the Ikilos? What's wrong with you?
He actually does not. Well, I actually got him the game, the vanilla Destiny, because I had an extra copy from Humble Bundle, and he really enjoyed the game so much that he picked up the Forsaken expansion and the annual pass, and we've been playing ever since. And that was about 3 weeks ago, and he's now like 650, 660 on his character. Like, I'm really impressed with how he was able to get his character up so quickly. And he has 3 characters too, which is crazy. Shadow Price doesn't even have 3 characters.
I have 3 characters. I just don't play all 3 of them.
They're both level 10. They haven't faced Gaul yet.
What are their light levels? Let's talk about that.
Actually, I did finish the campaign on 2 of them. There's just one I still haven't finished. And that character I haven't finished it on is like 670 something, right?
Really?
Just,
Oh, you've
yeah.
been doing those 640 bounties, huh?
Yeah, I did like the 640 bounties and then I equipped all the high weapons I had, everything. I got some higher armor props.
That makes sense. Okay. So, Protheon, how did you start playing Destiny?
So I was a big Halo fan. The first Halo I picked up was Halo 2, played Halo 3, and then played Halo Reach, which was my favorite Halo. I know it's your favorite Halo as well. I know it's kind of an unpopular opinion, but it was my favorite Halo game, and I played that even after Halo 4 came out. I still just stuck to Reach and kept playing it. And then I saw Bungie was making a new game called Destiny, and at first I was kind of skeptical about getting it, and then my friends kind of dragged me in, saying, "Hey, the beta's out, it's free, just check it out," and that pulled me in. So thanks. Um, I have been playing pretty much every day since then. Um, Taken King, I kind of took a break. Rise of Iron, I kind of took a break, and Destiny 2 Year One. We don't talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, sore subject. Absolutely.
I think I'm like one of the few people who actually enjoyed vanilla D2 because the world looked so freaking awesome on PC and the upgrade was so substantial. I mean, it didn't last. It didn't last. I think that didn't quite get enough content to last us beyond.
I kind of put it down around November, I think, and hopped in for a little bit during Curse of Osiris, and then didn't hop in again until Warmind.
Yeah, we took a lot of breaks during Curse of Osiris. We were playing
Yeah.
Division. I was playing some other Nintendo Switch games and like that. Yeah. Then we hopped back on Warmind. It seemed like that's when it was taking an uptrend after that. So
Yeah,
things were
it's
getting
weird
better.
for me. Warmind didn't bring me back until like a month after it came out. Like I played Warmind, I was like, okay, and then it started to pull me in. When I heard
Yeah.
about Escalation Protocol and the new raid layer, which I thought was cool at the time. Looking back at it, not a fan of Spire Stars, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
what brought me back.
Yeah, I think the Osiris expansion was probably one of the lowest points in the game. And a lot of people were just really unhappy with how things were going. And I remember they were going into the holiday season, and there were some pretty upsetting things with the Dawning that were that came out around that same time. So we took some breaks there. And then once Warmind came out, that's when things were starting to look up slightly. We
Yeah.
saw positive changes, and we were hearing about Gambit and fall expansion. So people were starting to come back to Destiny. But we've been playing ever since beta as well. We kind of had a similar story. We've played from the beginning, and we do take periodic breaks from the game because I think it's really difficult for a developer to keep things fun and engaging 12 months out of the year. I think that, you should take breaks from video games. I don't think it's the healthiest thing to play one game for 4 or 5 years. And we've kind of done that with Destiny, but it's okay to take breaks.
Yeah, I think it's
I've
strange. I think it's strange when people act like, "Oh, there hasn't been anything new to Destiny in 1-2 months. The game's dead." I'm like, you can't take just a break. Like breaks are breaks are good. Like when I take a break and come back, I feel refreshed. So I never understood that mindset of you have to play every day, and if Bungie can't do that, it's their fault. I never understood that.
look at studios like Gearbox and Borderlands. I mean, they took a 5-year break to develop the game and do it right. So, you got to give them some credit for what they're doing. They're trying to keep a game as a service model with Destiny, and it's not easy to do, especially with the amount of work that goes into creating a world like Destiny. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of talented people working together to bring something like this to life. And sometimes you got to be understanding of that. And it's okay to take a break and play other games. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, just like they said in the outro when they were splitting from Activision, they said they wanted somebody that was willing to take a leap of faith. Somebody was willing to try something different. something new, something fresh and everything. And Vanilla Destiny, like I said, was one of my favorite times. So how did you enjoy Vanilla Destiny?
Vanilla Destiny, I think I played almost every day. I loved it. I loved the mystery of it. I loved the lore of it because I felt like I was introduced into this world where, I guess, looking back, because it had no story, it was more mysterious to me, and that led me to believe more interesting things. And I'm a big lore person, so
Hmm.
being introduced to this new world where I barely knew anything about, I thought it was amazing.
So you read a lot of the grimoire, and everything too.
Yes, I did.
Nice. Yeah, that same for me. Just the loot aspect and the story and everything. Like the loot was special. Like I didn't realize how special the loot was until like it's like because I played Borderlands and I was like, this is cool, but these guns all seem similar. But then the loot in Destiny just felt really special.
Hmm.
I think the lore in Destiny is really awesome. And if you really take the time to read through some of that, I think you'll have a much better appreciation for the game and you'll have a much deeper understanding of all the characters and where they come from and how they think. And everything ties in together in such a awesome way, especially now with the new season of The Drifter. I think this season we've had some of the best lore that we've had in the entire game. And it's pretty exciting to see where Bungie takes the story of Destiny going into fall and going into D3, hopefully in 2020.
Yeah, I think it's really nice now because I feel like for the past 5 years they've been having so many branching stories that are finally coming together. Like
Yes.
they're finally we're seeing how all those connections are being made. Like we knew nothing about the Nine for 5 years, and now we're getting it, and it's really good. Like it was
Yeah.
worth the 5 year wait.
Yeah. And think about this, food for thought. We didn't know much about Osiris, and then we finally got to know him, and it was just a Debbie Downer. So it's really cool to see them create awesome lore, awesome storytelling in the game. And I'm really excited to see how this shapes not only this coming year, but going into D3 when we can expect a lot more cutscenes, a lot more cinematic elements. And I'm curious to see how they pull off story combined with the new cinematics that we're hopefully going to get in D3 when that eventually comes out.
Yeah, it's nice to see the writing team grow at Bungie too. You can tell how much they're improving everything with the story, how the lore is all these interweaving paths are now, they're all starting to connect. Right?
It's interesting you mentioned that because I think part of it has to do with the fact that they finally have a team that they settled in with. Because I think for the longest time, Bungie had to make a lot of changes and rewrite a lot of things. So they didn't really have a team that was really truly dedicated. And once they hire these people on, obviously it's going to take some time for them to really get a feel of what Destiny is and how to take the franchise to the next level. So I'm really excited to see where they take the game going into the future.
Absolutely.
Now, Protheon, what games did you play before you played Destiny?
So I like I said, Halo Reach was a big one. I also enjoy Telltale's Walking Dead series, which actually just got wrapped up this month or last month. Um, I played a lot of, let's see, I played Borderlands for a little bit. Wasn't a huge fan. Like I mean, I played them, but I'm not as dedicated as I was to, like Halo and Destiny and that kind of stuff. Um, and then I kind of played Black Ops and Call of Duty, and then it just kind of faded out for me around Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 is when I just kind of stopped playing. But I bought Black Ops 4 and I thought it was pretty good. So those are the only games I'm really playing other than Destiny right now.
Yeah, I really loved Halo Reach as well. That's one of my favorite Halo games. That's what got me into the Halo franchise. And I think that was the first game where I actually seriously played PvP. And it was so much fun. We've had such good times playing PvP and playing firefights. Such a good time. And I'm so excited that Halo Reach is coming to PC finally. After all these years, this year is going to be pretty exciting.
I know, forgot about that. Like, not only Borderlands 3, is we got the Halo Master Chief Collection coming to PC. So, yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
so
cool.
Destiny is going to have some competition this year. That is for certain. Now, Protheon, so what do you do in the Destiny community? How are you involved in Destiny these days?
So very recently, actually beginning the season of the Drifter, I started this Discord server. Well, originally, let me back up. Sorry. Originally, I had a tweet that said, "Hey, I love Gambit, but I hate playing by myself. I know a lot of people do. So I'm just gonna make a big Twitter like LFG chat. So, and if anyone on Xbox, I'm an Xbox player, would like to play, just let me know." And I got a lot of responses, and we actually hit the max limit, which is 50. And I was like, well, that kind of sucks. And I was thinking about making a Discord server, but I wasn't too familiar with Discord. And then someone else I knew, ironically also a parody account named the Gambit host, Dredgen or the Drifter. He said, "Hey, I'm inspired by what Protheon did. I want to make one for PlayStation." And then that's when him and I started talking. I was like, we should probably just make one big Discord server. So we did that, and we now have, I believe, 280 members. Um, we have an LFG for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, and it's not just Gambit; it's for all activities. Um, it's I'm very impressed with how much we've grown in actually a month today. Didn't Season of the Drifter start March 4th, March 6th, something like that? But yeah, in a month we got 280 people that are ready to just play, and I've been very happy with it.
Awesome. Well, make sure to shoot me a link to it and I will include that in the show notes. So if anyone wants to check out a cool new Destiny Discord community, you can do so with Protheons.
Yeah, thank you. And then I guess also I would just make memes. If I if I think of something funny or whatever, I try my best to just make people laugh. Um, so I usually whatever's going on in the community, whatever's happening, I just try to tweet something relevant that'll make people and brighten their day.
That's
That's
really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And that's what I love about the Destiny community, that a lot of the people are so positive and so community driven and happy to help other players. And I think that's something very special about this community, because ultimately we're very vocal about the game and the way that it's being released, but we're also very passionate. We care about the game and we want for it to be better. And it's awesome. You meet so many great people in this community, whether you're a 70-year-old playing with your grandson or whether you see so many cool people out there, from artists to
Musicians.
musicians and all kinds of
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very diverse community.
That is very true.
Yeah, I had a chat with Big Show one time before on Twitter and everything, and he's a huge Destiny fan. During the Warmind uh, days, it's really cool. It's just really cool to see how positive people are and how they're willing to share their stories and things like that. It's just really cool.
There's this guy in the Dredge and Legend Discord server. I can't remember the name, but he helped 7 people with the Thorn strike. Anyone who said,
Wow.
"Can anyone help me?" He was like, "I'm on it. I'll help you." And he got everyone through it. If I remember his name, I'll let you know. But it was just amazing to see, like running that strike 7 times would make me go insane.
That strike is hard,
Yeah,
especially when you get to the boss.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Didn't we try to like 2-man it?
We might have, but
Sure we
we
did.
definitely
And then we
needed
got a
the
third. We're like,
yeah.
this is taking a bit longer than we expected. Let's get a third
Yeah.
in here. We got this.
We like to challenge ourselves, but only so far. We could use a third. They just released the TWAP, by the way.
Oh, nice. F5.
F5.
Well, I'm reloading. I don't see it.
I don't either.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I just got that tweet notification. We're getting ready for some high voltage.
Man, yeah, it's not refreshing for me either, Corn.
That's weird.
Maybe I'll just reload.
Maybe it's only available to certain people. They just hit the weekly update
Yeah,
for a specific group.
maybe the VIP.
I do want to ask you. You've been playing Destiny for quite some time. Do you have a favorite exotic weapon in Destiny?
I do. And it was the bad Juju, which is still not in Destiny 2.
Nice.
It was the one I brought into Vaulted Glass. Pulse Rifles used to suck in the beginning of Destiny. They were not very good in PvE. But I just loved the health read and the super energy. And I was a Nova Bomb Warlock. So I brought that, and then I got Obsidian Mind later on, and I just paired those two together all the time. So I just had endless super. I love the design of the gun. Really hoping it comes to Destiny 2 soon because I miss it a lot.
Yeah, that was a cool gun, kind of underrated in a way. Yeah, that would also go good with like Skull Makara too, probably, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I still need to get the ornament for Skull of Makara. It actually turns it black, so I need that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the design of the weapon was really cool. Like it had like that smoke on the front of it. I think. Yeah, it was a cool gun.
I'm very fond of a weapon that you guys might recognize called Icebreaker. That was my favorite weapon in the game for exotic. I've had so many awesome memories playing through Strikes, Nightfalls, and it was really my go-to until they nerfed it quite a bit in D1. But that was such a special weapon to me.
I see the TWAB now. It's up.
Finally, F5. A little bit late, but better late than never. But we're going to dive into it in just a little bit. But before we do, I do want to ask Protheon a few more questions. And Protheon, what are your thoughts on the new season of The Drifter that came out this last month?
So I love Gambit. I loved Gambit when it came out. I do like the season more than Black Armory as of now, but I've also been playing the season casually just because personal life is in the way. So I think it's better than Black Armory by far. I was kind of disappointed with Black Armory. If it didn't have the raid, I would have been really disappointed by Black Armory. But I'm really liking Season of the Drifter, and I like the loop that they have between Reckoning and Gambit Prime. However, I do think that the players that don't like Gambit are kind of getting screwed over in a sense. Because I definitely feel that like if you don't like a certain activity, this isn't for you, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of good assessment of that, I would say.
I think I've been playing this season more casually as well. I haven't been playing it as much as I played previous seasons. I think in Forsaken, I no lifed it.
Same.
And then after that, slowed down a bit. I think I also agree with you that this season is better than last season that we got. Also, it's tough because in a way you have to properly set your expectations for the content that we're getting, because essentially it's broken up into 3 content pieces instead of 2 that we had last year. So you're paying about between $10 and $12 for each DLC content pack. So for what we're paying, I think that it's not bad. But I think that it's difficult to maintain a game as a service, especially when players are expecting new content each and every week. So in a way, it's not always the most realistic thing for them to develop. So a lot of people come in with an expectation of getting something a lot bigger than what we actually got. And that's one thing that I noticed with the annual pass overall that was different from last year's expansion pass.
Overall, I'm pretty okay with the annual pass. I do think there could be some improvements. I don't hate it as much as some other people do, but my biggest gripe with Black Armory was the forges really didn't feel different, and it really felt like no matter what forge I was doing the same thing. Like the grind for the guns, I thought was cool, and like forging your own weapons for that specific role, I liked that. But the forges, the forges just were not fun to me. That was my biggest thing.
Yeah, I can agree with that for sure. Yeah, just like they were too samey. Just
Yeah.
doing the same thing over and over again. There wasn't enough variety,
Like the
unfortunately.
Reckoning has modifiers that makes it interesting, makes it different,
Yeah,
big new stuff. But Forge
yeah,
is just the same thing.
yeah, and you can get through the reckoning stuff like probably like quicker and farm for those guns and everything. You don't have to keep going back to a NPC in the tower and
Yeah.
everything to what I'm saying. You just load the thing right back up after you beat the boss.
Mhm.
So that's what's cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that as well. I think that Bungie, I understand what they tried to do with the forges, but ultimately, once you got the weapon that you're chasing after, there's no reason to go back and play it. I think that's one of the problems with Destiny overall. If you look at games like Call of Duty and with zombies, zombies are quite repetitive in terms of you're playing the same thing, but there's a reason for you to keep playing the game, right? You want to achieve that high score. Where in Destiny, there isn't really a system built in where you have a real leaderboard or something for you to chase after you get the weapon that you were chasing after in the game.
Yeah, it's more horizontal progression in like zombies than it is the
Yeah.
other.
And if you
Um,
think about it, it's kind of that way just across all of the activities in Destiny. There's nothing where you're you're continuing to play because you want to get that high score. Or if you look at Halo Reach, for example, you grinded, especially in that game, because you wanted to achieve that pinnacle title in the game, right? And they kind of have titles with the seals, but half of it is kind of hidden behind RNG, and it's just not a fun grind. And I think that Bungie definitely needs to add more verticality to the activities in the game, especially with things like forges or even Gambit, for example. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the future and how they make things more interesting as the season progresses and going into Season of the Opulence and beyond.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Now, Protheon, if Destiny wouldn't exist today, what other game would you be playing?
Oh God. Um, I guess I'd probably still be sticking with the Halo series. Yeah, I don't see myself playing many other games. I mean, I play a lot of fun party games with friends. Um, I get into new games here and there. Oh, also, this is a pretty big one I left out. A lot of people hate me for saying this, but I like Smite. It's kind of like the third person League of Legends. It came to Xbox free, and when I first got my Xbox One, I was just looking at all the free games and I'm like, I'll try that out. So I play that quite a bit whenever Destiny isn't at its best, and I have a lot of fun in it.
we had a buddy that played Smite too on like PS4, and they really enjoyed it. I think it was also like a free to play game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people just tell me, "Well, why don't you just play League of Legends?" I don't know. It's better.
And Protheon, I'm curious, what do you think of the Borderlands game and Anthem?
So yeah, Borderlands. I'm excited. I played 1 and 2. Like I said, not a lot, but I played them. Um, I definitely know it has a good reputation, so I'm pretty excited for it. And Anthem, I got Anthem, and I didn't play it much. There wasn't much. There wasn't much bringing me back to keep playing. I actually hit this block in the story, which I'm sure everyone knows about now. We have to like ignite these tombs or something. I got to that, and it's like a long quest grind. And I just was like, I finished it, and I was like, that was kind of boring. And then I heard it started breaking PS4 consoles, so I kind of stayed away from it. Since then, I know some people love it, so go ahead if you love it. Power to you, keep playing it, but it's not a game for me.
Yeah, that was bizarre about the whole closing down the consoles, like just like shutting them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been hearing that Jason Schreier broke some news of Anthem very recently. There's some new information that we got about the game's development. Do you guys hear about that?
Yeah, lots of news. I was able to read the whole article, but it's a lengthy read. It took me about like 30 minutes, 35 minutes to read the whole thing.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I haven't read the article, but I have seen the tweets from, I want to say Skill Up tweeted out, and a bunch of other members of the video game community. They tweeted out about Anthem, and it sounds like they're not doing too well right now. A lot of turmoil going on with that game.
Pretty much the TLDR is there was bad leadership. EA pushed them a little too hard, but at the same time they weren't working as hard, and there was bad communication.
Shadow Price, have you played any Anthem?
I played like the open beta, I believe. And I played it for like, I don't know, about an hour and a half or so. And I mean, it was all right, but I just didn't find anything like groundbreaking and really special in it. You know, it felt cool to fly around, but it just, I don't know, it lacked that special flavor that I was looking for.
Yeah, I think the graphics were pretty, but there wasn't a whole lot of depth. And I think the movement and the way that your character moved around and all the abilities, they just didn't really feel as smooth and as good as Destiny feels like to me. So ultimately, I did try out the beta for it, but I decided not to pick it up and wait and see what happens with the game. Because back, I don't know if you guys remember, but last year there was a reveal for Anthem, and it almost felt like when they announced it and they were showing it off that people didn't quite have or I should say, the developers showing off the game didn't really have a very good idea for what the game was. They couldn't really explain what the game was to a point where I understood it.
Catch us live every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/The Destiny Show. If you like the show, please share with friends, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Destiny content. You can find The Destiny Show podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, Podbean, and all major podcast platforms. New episodes available Fridays.